What is up, everyone? I'm coming on here for a couple of plays for the day. Now we have a ton of games happening on Saturday. We have a ton of college football. We have a ton of NFL games actually happening on Saturday also. I believe we have Packers, Bears, and then we have Eagles and Commanders. So some conference games. And then I don't really know why they're doing NFL games tomorrow because it's a really massive day of college football. I feel like they should at least give college football one more weekend to itself. So I don't really like that they're doing that. But hey, games are happening, so we're going to bet on them. I have 10 picks in today's video in total, all right? So 6 college football plays, actually 7 college football plays if you count the ONYX play that I'm going to get to, and then 3 in the NFL, all right? I really like the college football games, specifically the Texas A&M and Miami game, okay? So actually there's 3 picks centered around that. Actually 4 if you count the ONYX play, okay? So a lot of picks around that game in particular, so hopefully that game does go the way that I think it will. But going into, the setups and stuff we have, we did set this one up with tonight's game, which was Bama and Oklahoma. It was a good game. I took the overs on Bama in the second half, thinking they'd throw the ball a lot. That is what ended up happening. Now, I will say this game is going on right now, and it does not look good. Unfortunately, it feels like these four-mans just are not hitting together recently, which has been sucking. But again, guys, the four-mans are eventually going to come through for us. We do have, this as a setup. We have this as a setup happening here in the next couple of hours. And, hopefully one of these can cash for us. Maybe both of them could cash for us. That would be massive. And then we also have a, I guess, mini setup here with Anthony Joshua. And I mean, he had one punch in tonight's fight, but we do have Ole Miss guys to go over. We have the Tulane guys to go over, which I actually really like a lot, and then the League of Legends, as I said. This was actually yesterday's play of the day, so Ty Simpson and Jeremy Bernard to go over. You'll see that these guys go way under, so actually Ty Simpson gets kind of close to going over, but he does go under, so he throws for 103 yards. I think 2 of these plays were like long distance plays to some other guy, some freshman guy, but Jeremy Bernard, his number 1 target, gets 4 receiving yards. So again, how this works is I take the unders together or the overs together. So for example, these guys went under together. A lot of times guys will go over together. You'll see I took them in the second half. I took their overs, and their overs actually did hit together. And that was with Jeremy Bernard having a massive drop in that second half too. So if Jeremy Bernard would have caught that ball, these guys probably would have went even more over their lines, which doesn't matter. But at the end of the day, it is what it is, right? That is how this works. You'll see Stafford and Puka. That's what we took yesterday, for example, or on Thursday. And they went way over together because, again, they're very correlated together, okay? So before I get into the picks, if you do want to get entered in a signed Odell Beckham jersey, guys, like, comment, and subscribe on this video, and you'll be entered to win this jersey giveaway. I'm going to be doing this right before Christmas, so go ahead and get your entries in. All it is pretty much liking and commenting on the videos every single day in December. So if you have not been doing it, start today, like and comment on these videos, and you'll get into this raffle giveaway for this Odell jersey giveaway. All right, guys. So first pick of the day, going to be on ONYX odds. I'm going to be talking about this game a lot today, which is A&M and Miami, okay? How I think this game is going to go is I think it's going to be a close game, or I think there's going to be a lot of passing. Miami's defense is not very good. A&M's defense is pretty good, but I think that Miami's offense with Beck, with the Malachi Tony, I believe his name is, the receiver, they have an explosive offense. But one thing that I do know, guys, is Carson Beck really struggles against good defenses. He looks amazing against mediocre or bad defenses. He looks like he could be the number 1 pick in the draft against bad defenses, but against solid defenses or very good defenses like A&M has, he looks very bad. And that's not to say that he's not going to get a lot of yards. That's not to say he might not get a couple of touchdowns, so he's probably going to throw some picks. He might even throw a pick 6 in this game, and I think he is going to be the reason why Miami does lose to A&M. So credit to A&M's defense. I think A&M is going to win with their defense, but I still think it's going to be a pretty offensive heavy battle, if that does make sense, okay? So A&M money line, guys, I think this is a good play. I think honestly you could argue A&M even having a bye this week. I know they didn't make the SEC championship, but they're a good enough team to have done that. So this is going to be the play on ONYX, guys. We've been doing really well on ONYX, yeah, I don't know if I deleted my screenshots or something like this, but you guys will see all these plays that we did hit on ONYX. This was the past week right here on this channel, and there was only 2 misses, right? Michael Porter Jr. was a miss, and then Rams money line was a miss, which they lost by 1 point in overtime. So it was very close entry right there. If you guys want to get into ONYX odds, if you guys want to get into my VIP for free, all you have to do is sign up for ONYX odds. So it's just texting me ONYX to my number right here on the screen. You'll get 1 month free of the VIP, as simple as that. that. You can do the same thing with sleeper. You can do the same thing with underdog. Okay, guys. Yeah, I don't know if this guy went over or not. I forgot to check. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't, but I'll have to check this. But yeah, this was the play that I took yesterday on underdog. It was a free pick for me. So if it wins, great. If it loses, it's okay. But you'll see here, text me underdog to get signed up for Underdog Fantasy. They're doing promos like this all the time. I think they're doing like a 12 days of Christmas type thing where they're giving out a promo every day, whether it's a free pick, a bonus entry, some sort of thing they're doing on Underdog. So get signed up for these apps, guys, especially during the holidays, during the playoffs. They're going to be giving out a ton of free value, okay? So let's hop into the first college football plays of the day here. We're going to start with college football, and then we're going to hop over to the NFL after I'm done with the college football picks. First pick of the day. It is going to be Carson Beck over passing yards. All right, guys. This, honestly, I didn't even realize this, but this is the most popular play right now on PrizePicks. Honestly, I think for a good reason. I think this line is way too low for Beck right now. If you wanted to be a little bit different, you could also take him over completions. I like him over pass completions as well. Maybe even pass attempts also I like. Again, because I think they're going to be playing from behind in this game a little bit. I think it's going to be a shootout. I think Beck is going to throw a couple picks maybe, and that's going to cause A&M to get a couple short fields and maybe be winning this game just from defense alone. And I think Beck is going to have to throw his way out of it, okay? So you'll see this a lot with Beck. If he is losing a game, he gets a ton of passing yards. Like he can definitely rack up passing yards. I'm not sure which some of these games that he did lose and whatnot. I think he lost the SMU game, and then he also lost a Louisville game, if I'm remembering correctly. I think those are his two losses. But you'll see SMU, he throws for close to 300 yards, and then Louisville, I think he threw for over 300 yards, if my memory stands correct. And those were games that were really bad. Like I think he threw 4 picks in the Louisville game. Nonetheless, I don't want to talk about this too much because we have a lot to get into, but Carson Beck over pass yards is going to be my official play. This is my favorite pick of the day. I think this is a no-brainer to go with here. They're going to win with their guys, and their guys is Carson Beck, and it's going to be the receiving core. Those are the people that are the very, very good players of this team. Second pick is also going to be in this game. It's going to be KC Concepcion. This guy's a super impressive receiver. He is the dominant receiver on A&M, even though they have a really good receiving core. And same thing here. I think Miami has a weak defense. I think it's going to be a shootout type game, kind of like we saw, like you see all the time in college football. I think this is just going to be a classic shootout type game. I like a lot of overs today, to be honest, just because they're close teams. They're close teams playing each other. Other than the Oregon game, Oregon JMU, which Oregon should just blow out JMU. There's very explosive offenses. I mean, these teams are in the college football playoff for a reason. And a lot of these teams playing have really explosive offenses like Ole Miss, Miami, A&M, Oregon. Like they have very, very explosive offenses. So KC Concepcion is going to be the second pick of the day. The third pick of the day is going to be in this Ole Miss game. I'm going to take Harrison Wallace to go over. The only concern with the Ole Miss plays, guys, with the Ole Miss receivers, there's literally not a concern because they're all amazing, but that is actually the number one negative to it, is that any one of these guys, they're kind of like Texas Tech. If you guys follow Texas Tech and how they play, they have like 5 different receivers plus their running back that can catch balls. So it's really hard to predict who's going to be the guy. You'll see like all of these guys here all have over 30-yard projections, which is difficult to understand, difficult to predict, right? Because, for example, like this random tight end could end up getting like 90 yards tomorrow, and that would take away yards from Harrison Wallace, who we're betting on. The safe bet is to go Harrison Wallace, though, just because he's the dominant receiver of this offense. You'll see he normally gets in that like 90-yard range. You could also take the quarterback over, but I think it's safer to take Wallace. I think the quarterback, Trinidad, there's a chance that, because his line's like 274, there's a chance that he gets like 250, or it's actually 287 now. I think there's a chance that he gets like 250 or 260, and then they completely stop throwing the ball because they're probably winning by like 25 points. Another thing that you could also consider is I really like to bet on Lane Kiffin offenses. I bet on Ole Miss a ton last year, and it's because Lane Kiffin just kept throwing the ball over and over. It didn't matter if he was up by like 50 points. He keeps throwing the ball. Now they have a different head coach because Lane has now gone to LSU, so I don't know if that's going to be the same mentality there. I hope it is, because I like that mentality, guys. Just keep running up the stats on these teams, all right? The fourth pick is going to be Dante Moore to go under 40.5 longest completion. If this would load, you'll see that he normally does go under this, but really the main part of this is that they are playing JMU. JMU is probably going to have a lot of mistakes playing Oregon. Oregon's going to have a very, very good defense. The last time that that JMU played Oregon, you can actually see it here because I have Jake Reslov, I think is how you say his name, to go over later in the video, as I'm going to get to. But the last time he played Oregon, guys, he had 5 pass completions in 17 attempts. And I'm actually going to go the reverse of that, as we'll get into. But yeah, Oregon's defense is extremely good. And what I want to say is that when a defense performs very good, you don't really have to push the ball down the field as an offense, okay? So I think Oregon is going to win very easily in this game. I think it's going to be a walk in the park. They're going to win through defense. They're going to win through running the ball. They're going to win through little screen passes and slants and stuff. They're not going to need to throw the ball 50, 60 yards down the field. That's not even really what their offense is anyway. So again, I am taking Dante Moore to go under 40.5. Longest completion, 4th pick. I'm going to run through these a little bit quicker just because this video is getting a bit long here. The 5th pick is going to be Marcel Reed over pass completions. Again, I've talked about this game at length, but I think it's going to be a shootout type game. So if Marcel is behind, he's going to throw the ball a ton. If Carson Beck is behind, they're going to throw the ball a ton. If there's a very close game and they're both, within 3 points of each other, both of these offenses are going to be throwing the ball a ton. And I've talked about it at length this whole year. For some reason, these books and these odds makers, they don't think of Marcel Reed as a passing quarterback. They think of him as a running quarterback for some reason. And that is not necessarily true. He likes to throw the ball first. He can definitely run, but he's more of that runner that can get in the end zone when he has to. He's not one of those run first guys. So he is a much better, he is a really good passer. He's a really solid passer, and he can definitely pass the ball down the field and get a lot of completions and stuff. So the last pick of the day in college football, guys, is actually going to be Jake Retzlaff, who I already talked about. I already showed you guys his graphs here. And really the elephant in the graph is that he had 5 pass completions last time he played Ole Miss. But I think that, and I'm just realizing now that I was talking about Jake Retzlaff when he's not even playing Oregon, or he's not even playing JMU, so that can just be thrown out the window. But again, guys, I like Dante Moore under. Maybe you guys were yelling at your screen that I was saying that, but Jake Retzlaff is actually playing Ole Miss. Dante Moore is playing JMU, but with Tulane, guys, again, he's playing a solid defense in Ole Miss, but I still think that Jake Retzlaff is going to get 15.5 pass completion. I think this is too low for him. Again, he's going to be playing from behind. If you have not noticed, what I always talk about is when a team's playing from behind, they throw the ball a ton. When a team is playing ahead, they throw the ball a lot less, and that's when they like to run the ball and stuff like that, okay? So I do think he's going to have to throw the ball quite a lot to keep up with this offense, and I think he's going to get a lot more pass completions than he did the last game that they played, okay? So sorry for that confusion if you guys were confused about who was playing who, but again, Oregon, I still think is going to absolutely destroy JMU, probably win by 35 points. And this Tulane Ole Miss game, I think it's going to be a little bit closer, but I still think Ole Miss wins by offense, and I think both offenses are going to do okay, but Ole Miss's offense is just way too high powered, okay? So let's get into the NFL plays of the day. First pick, this is probably my favorite pick of the NFL plays here, is going to be Jalen Hurts to go under 19 pass completions. Again, guys, oh, by the way, let me take $1 on that just to track everything there so I don't miss out on anything. But again, guys, first pick is going to be Jalen Hurts. Take him under 19 pass completions. The reason being, as I just talked about at length in college football, it's the same thing. It doesn't matter whether you're in college. It doesn't matter whether you're in the NFL. When a team is ahead in a game, they do not pass very much, okay? And that is very true of the Eagles. They love to run the ball with Hurts. They love to run the ball with Saquon. And they're probably going to get ahead in this game versus the Commanders. The Commanders are not very good whatsoever. They probably are not going to score very much, and the Eagles are probably going to win this game pretty easily, causing Hurts to throw the ball a lot less. The second pick of the day in the NFL is going to be Caleb Williams under longest completion. This is really just about how this offense operates. They operate on a lot of quick throws. They operate on a lot of out routes and stuff. They don't really operate on a lot of deep throws, and they don't really have the personnel to do that either. If you think of all the receivers and Colston Loveland, their tight end, all of the receivers are these short route running guys. You have DJ Moore. He doesn't really stretch the field. You have Rome Odunze. He doesn't stretch the field either. Luther Burden's probably the closest they have, but they haven't really used him as that either. They kind of use him as a gadget guy. And he also just isn't really stretching the field either. So they don't have a person that can really get massive yardage, massive catches. And they don't even really play this way either, right? That is not how they really run their offense. So I'm going to take his under on longest completion. Again, as I was talking about with these longest completion lines, it is hard in the NFL to get a 40-yard pass, okay? Unless you're I don't know, the Cowboys. I feel like the Cowboys are the only people that consistently get really long passes. But some of these teams, I mean, they just don't, that's just not even part of their game plan. And I mean, the Bears have been very good this year. Third pick of the day is going to be a little bit of a wild card, but we are going to take Quinn Ewers to go over 11.5 fantasy score. Okay, guys. He has played like 7 snaps or 7 pass attempts so far this season, but he can move the ball, guys. Okay, he went 5 for 7 against the Browns defense. This was in garbage time, so you got to take it in a grain of salt. But I watched him a lot in the preseason. He actually missed one of our entries in the preseason by 1 passing yard. If you watch that game and you remember that, man, that's still to this day, I still think about that. But Quinn Ewers can throw the ball. He's there. He is, all he has to do is get it out to Devon Achane, get it out to Jalen Waddle, and they can make space for him. They can make, plays for him and stuff like that. And honestly, if there's one thing Quinn can do, he can get the ball out in screen passes, in swing passes, in slant routes, out routes, and he can let his playmakers do it. I watched him all the time in Texas, and all of those players like A.D. Mitchell, like Worthy, like J.T. Sanders, that's on the Panthers now. All of these players, he just got the ball. Even Bijan, I'm pretty sure he played with for a little bit there. He just got the ball in space, and they were able to make room for it. And again, 11 fantasy score is very low for a quarterback, so I'm going to take Ewers over and see if he can get in the end zone or something like that. If he can get 1 pass touchdown, I think this should be a lock for him to take here. Again, this is a little bit of a wild card just because we have no idea how Ewers is going to play. Maybe he gets like 50 yards and he just absolutely sucks, but maybe he doesn't, and maybe he does get a solid like 150 yards, 2 touchdowns or something like that, and we say, hey, maybe Ewers has a future as an NFL quarterback. So these are going to be the 3 plays of the day in the NFL, guys. Again, sorry for the longer video. A lot to talk about today, though, just because there's a lot of NFL games and college football games. The main thing to take away, guys, is that when a team is winning the game, they're not going to throw very much. When a team is losing the game, that is when you're going to see these teams throw a ton, get a lot of yards sometimes, and get a lot of pass completions and attempts, of course, obviously. So sign up for ONYX, guys. Like, comment for the Odell jersey giveaway and all that. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in tomorrow's video.